Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Christmas special of the Idle Banter segment of the Fuel Injection podcast. How's everyone doing today?
Good.
All
Glad
right.
to hear it. We got Cody over here in his nice black crash helmet and Santa hat, decked out for the holidays. Okay, so
just fell off.
Oh, the Santa hat keeps coming off. Honestly, you should just get some duct tape and then just stick it on. It will never come off that way. Super glue it, actually super glue it, and then it will permanently be on though.
People just
Just
feel the feathers ruffling in the wind.
JB weld it.
Too far to epoxy.
I don't know if that would work actually. You can't JB weld some fabric, yeah. Anyway, I'd like to begin the podcast, if I may, talking about the new episode of the Grand Tour, in which they went to Madagascar in a Bentley, a Caterham, and a Ford Focus. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I thought it was a good episode. I really did. I seen where it caught some hate. It's them doing what they do. I thought it was great.
Yeah, honestly, I have to agree with you on that. I know some people that were like, this isn't what I was expecting, this was underwhelming. I'm like, but honestly, we would watch any show. I'll put it this way, they would watch any show that had those three guys in it. And if it was a cooking show, a welding show, a funny little show of them just doing stunts, any kind of show, if it was a talk show, I'd still watch it because it has those three guys on it and they have such a good chemistry and they just make me laugh and they make lots of people laugh. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't really get the point of saying, oh, it's not what I was expecting, it wasn't as funny as I thought, because it has the three guys on it. And I think that's always going to be funny, at least for me. I know you guys would probably agree with me on that, so I have to agree with you on that, Doug. I thought it was a good episode, but yeah. Cody, Damon?
So this is the first time I've actually watched the Grand Tour at all. I haven't watched the first season or the first three. So that was my first time watching, especially this new format. And unfortunately for you, Layla, I kind of echo the sentiments of it. It was a little underwhelming to me. And I was thinking about it last night. I was really trying to figure it out. And one thing I kind of come back to was the pacing to me. Because the first 15 minutes in the film, we start with that brilliant bridge that's going around the ring, the ring of that not French island. Well, not French island.
Yeah.
And that didn't really have any weight to the actual what they were actually trying to do, which was find that little cross thing on the beach, which didn't end up being a little cross thing. It was just this little cut. Oh well, you can go away. And so for the first 15 minutes, you have that, and then you have like 3 minutes of them going back and forth between James May trying to find all the code. And that to me was like visual exposition. It just kind of slowed everything down. Although I have to say, the cinematography itself was beautiful. That gold color shining on the screen was great. But
it was. I think the setting was particularly good for this one because on that not French island, and you know that scene where Hammond and Clarkson are sitting on the beach in beach shows, and they have the sun kind of setting behind them. It was a good setting, definitely, and the cinematography was quite good. Yeah.
Yeah. They definitely stepped it up since the Top Gear days. But while I was watching, I kind of realized that there was a lot more driving than they did in the old Top Gear specials, like Patagonia or South Africa, because we had, like, how many times did they stop at a town compared to the old Top Gear days? They'd stop at maybe 1 or 2 towns and then show that and then get back to the plot. There was at least 3 times, like the moment in the wooden handcuffs, like that probably would have made it in, but them stopping at the other towns along the way, I don't think would have happened. So I think perhaps either with the money from Amazon or with the new format, they've been allowed to not trim as much back from the film as they would have had to during the Top Gear days. So it just felt a little longer than I was expecting.
I mean, it was an hour and a half, but I think it's kind of what they were going for because they did want to make these longer specials.
Mm-hmm.
But no, there's definitely I think that's a good observation about there being a lot less being trimmed back. Because I think with the BBC, it was a lot more strict about what they couldn't put in, and Amazon is kind of like, okay, these three guys they're pretty talented. They can manage their own show. They kind of know what they're doing. They aren't being babysat as much.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they can kind of experiment more and kind of add some new things in that they wouldn't have usually put in the BBC days. So yeah.
Especially considering they got to use new cars for this and rag on them. That never would have happened during the BBC days. Not at all.
They never would have taken 3 brand new cars, modified them, and then gone off-roading with them. You wouldn't have seen him off-roading with a Bentley Continental GT
Exactly.
in that NASCAR in like the BBC days or anything, or that Ford Focus. You wouldn't have seen them putting tracks on a Focus. No.
Yeah. At best, they would have been able to. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I just want to say something since you said that, because that was honestly my thorn in my side for the video. My critique was the Focus with the tracks on it.
Mm-hmm.
I am sorry, that's still a bit novelty. If you live somewhere where maybe there's a lot of sand or something, or if you live somewhere in the winter, you get really bad snows, like, Northern America or Canada and places like that. Okay, it may be a viable option.
Mm-hmm.
But for what they were going to do, to me, it was like, that was just kind of a waste of time. I would have rather seen the Focus honestly start off on just 4 good, chunky rally tires or something.
Mm-hmm.
What Continental done.
Like some off-road, like pickup truck tires or something. Yeah, like lift it and then put some big tires on it. Yeah,
kind of like Clarkson done with the Bentley.
Absolutely.
I think that's more fun than the tracks, because I just got tired of them breaking and complaining, and it was like, well, you should have known better.
Yeah.
And it's
just a little
overkill. So he's not dumb. Like he's not mechanically inept. So he known.
Well, he did crash. He doesn't know.
I mean, that's true, Damon. He did crash many times.
A lot.
A lot. Down the hillside, in the jet-powered drag show, just so many. But
and the KN. I remember he crashed a KN.
That's true.
Oh,
He
yeah.
crashed that too.
And managed to self the airbags. He crashed it into the camera car. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
And in a YouTube video for Drive Tribe, he crashed one of his motorcycles into the side of his house.
Oh god.
So he's good at crashing, but he can also fix things pretty well. So I was kind of like, why would he have chosen to put tracks on?
Yeah.
So I kind of agree with you on that. I think that was kind of odd, but other than that, I thought the episode was pretty well done. Damon, any thoughts on the episode?
I think I'm gonna have to agree with Cody about the pacing. It just seemed like some parts of it were quick and some were the other. And even though it was 1 hour 30, it made it feel like it was just quite a short episode for some reason. Even though it was 1.5 hours, you didn't feel the scale of what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Like when I went, like, I think a couple of days before I watched the first special they did with the Lancia Beta, the Oliver, the Quidette, I think, and the Merc, and even though that was only an hour, that felt more substantial.
Mm-hmm. It just felt like they were kind of waffling about, right?
Yeah. It felt like there was I mean, I think that might also be because they were just going over the same type of terrain over and over again, because that's what they were stuck with. But and also I think the Caterham was not given enough credit. All of its screen time was played just for a laugh for him getting covered in mud, where it's a 2-wheel drive track car, and it made it all the way across Madagascar, and then in the edit they just played it for laughs. I think Caterham earned itself a bit more screen time and a bit better viewing than what they gave it in the end.
Big time, and it didn't even blow its clutch.
Yeah. they put so much into the Focus making it, and then the Focus blew its clutch, and the Caterham made it. Where is the Caterham now? Because we know Focus probably in the bin somewhere in the scrapyard in Wolverhampton, probably. Or they've bothered fixing it, which I would say is surprising considering they ditched the tracks as well, which means it's a normal Focus. We know the Bentley should be with Clarkson, but from what I've heard, it might be getting crushed because Bentley registered it as a prototype, if I read an article on Drive Tribe about that.
Ooh.
I think I read that on Drive Tribe where, because obviously to register a car modified like that, you're going to have to go get around some regulations. So they might have done that because Clarkson brought it back. And I think he's not going to scrap it because I know some cars registered as prototype cars just live on private land, some of them. So he might just keep it on the land. But it can't be registered, I don't think. We've no idea what happened to the Caterham afterward. It didn't get enough screen time. It's a two-wheel drive track car with some big wheels on it. I think he earned a bit more. And a winch.
But I gotta say, in fairness, man, at the end of the episode, I'm with that Caterham was amazing. In all reality, how did that thing not end up a twisted pretzel on the side of the road somewhere, just bent up? I mean, he took some hard knocks in that car, and that's just the ones they showed us. I mean, how was that thing just not going down the road on like 2 or 3 wheels? I mean, just busted.
Yeah,
I was just about to say that was the hero of the story.
Scene? Oh, sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
I'm done.
Okay. You know that scene while James is driving it through that huge mud pit, and then there's like this kind of small hill of stones, and he makes it through the mud, and then he goes up like diagonally up the hill of stones, and he's in a 2-wheel drive Caterham. Like, how did he do that?
That's the main thing, is 2-wheel drive. The other two, yes, they were not built for it, but they were 4-wheel drive and properly lifted. The Caterham just had, I don't even think the rear was lifted at all. I think the tyres were just big. The front was lifted so it was level.
Yeah.
And then this 2-wheel drive track car with 150 horsepower, so it's not like it was going to power through the course. Made it.
Yeah, it absolutely did. That was the most staggering thing to me. It's like, how did it make it all the way through that journey without completely just dying? Because, I mean, look at the Focus. That thing, the clutch blew on that, and that was the one I was least expecting, honestly. Because I was like,
because it's up on tracks.
It's on, it's been pretty heavily modified. It should be able to make it, but no, it didn't. And then the little plucky Caterham just kept going and going, and it was the one that made it through with the Bentley. So. And
it didn't have any electrical issues, which is odd for a British car. Well, except for when Clarkson pulled out the battery switch, but that wasn't British engineering fault.
Yeah.
That was just Jeremy's fault. That was him just being silly.
Yeah. But
sorry, you go.
I was just going to say that, I was impressed with the Caterham and how it done, and just the fact that it stayed in together and didn't end up in a bucket somewhere. But honestly, I loved that Bentley. I mean, I would have owned that Bentley. And it was just, I don't know, I could not stop looking at it and thinking, I would own that.
I think all of us are probably thinking, I would own that. I want that so
I'd
bad.
take the Caterham over it. Honestly, for what that Caterham did, I'd take the Caterham over it.
That Bentley is full apocalypse spec, though.
That Bentley is mental.
Yeah, if there were to be a zombie apocalypse right now, I'd go and get that Bentley, and I think we'd all be fine. Everyone who was in the Bentley would just be fine.
The beach scene with the explosives just basically sold that car, the Bentley, to me, though. Just driving away with the explosions behind it.
Yes. And then James was like, oh, Jesus. Ah. Yeah. That was actually my favorite scene of the whole thing. He's like, he lights these. It was such a Jeremy moment, though, because he lights all the explosives, and he's like, yeah, I have 3 minutes to get away. And it actually ends up being like 20 seconds. It's like, oh, shoot, I need to get away now.
Gotta run!
Get away! You just see the Bentley just like skidding away. Yeah, great scene.
Yeah, that was a great scene. But that K-trim, yeah, because the thing about that K-trim is it doesn't even have a modern chassis build. It doesn't have a it doesn't have a monocoque now. It's not like the Jaguar F type where the chassis sort of the body, which is like most modern cars. That thing's got a normal chassis with a normal body that, as far as I know, doesn't totally contribute to the action.
I think what car are we talking about?
The K-trim.
The K-trim.
I think that's a monocoque-ish. I think, if I remember, because they did an episode where they built one, and I think that was a monocoque.
Oh yeah. It's like a sort of space framey thing. Yeah,
kind of space frame monocoque. Because I saw a K-trim.
It was the chassis that they put the body on top of. Yeah, so it was like.
It's basically a space frame with some panels bolted to the side of it.
Basically, yeah.
So the frame kind of acts like a monocoque shell, but it's tubular, and physics basically means that's better for track car, but would get twisted in kind of the off-road situation where it was.
Yeah, but
it didn't. James wouldn't keep it because he got covered in mud in it, but wonder where it is.
Well, that was only because he was in Madagascar and he was kind of dim-witted to bring a convertible track car to Madagascar to go off.
The thing is, those K-trims come with, you can get a weatherproofing pack. It's not very weatherproofing, it's just some tarpaulin over the seats basically. But I don't know why he didn't put that on, because he'd get at least a little bit less muddy.
Yeah. Is it as good as the BAC Mono's weather stripping?
The BAC Mono just has proper seats and stuff, but it just has weatherproof seats. No, it's just basically this. What's the material? Kind of like that plasticky recovery material, like tarpaulin. Tarpaulin. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Getting back to your point, though, Doug, about the tracks, one thing I realized when I was watching Hammond drive is that tracks aren't meant to turn like wheels are. They're just gonna fall off. That's why tanks, they go in the opposite direction to turn on a dime. They don't actually have a proper steering mechanism. Yep. And so it was a really poor idea to add tracks, and that made me realize that all of those aftermarket tracks options that I've seen, like for Jeep Wranglers and stuff, at one point I thought, yeah, I would get that if I needed it. No, I'm not doing that now. It just, tracks don't turn. It doesn't work.
But also, to a point about that is, if you're going to put tracks on, you should at least have it going in the same direction that they go on tanks.
Yeah.
At least you can turn. Mm-hmm. But if you're having it go this way, counterclockwise, then it's not going to work. You just can't get it to go, agile. If it's going like that, you have to make it go like that to make it, maneuverable. Yeah.
I mean, snowmobiles, they just have those little skis.
I think it would be, doable, but the surfaces you would do it on would be so limited. Yeah. I think if you're on any kind of hard surface, blacktop, concrete, you're done. That's why, most of his broke into gravel. When he got into really deep mud, it ain't going to work. I think in light mud, maybe snow would be the best thing I could think of. Something where the tracks lift you and keep you on top of the snow as opposed to sinking down into it. And the snow would be light enough, it would probably allow you to turn without throwing them. So it's such a limited use, and that's where I felt that they just it was an afterthought, maybe.
I think it was done for the sake of theatre. I think that's all they did it for. It wasn't to get anywhere. It was just for the sake of having cool looking car.
Because it's Hammond is, I think, mechanically talented enough to know that in that setting, with that kind of ground, with like mud and pavement, tracks are not the answer. As Doug said, tracks are only good for snow, which is why when you see people driving with vehicles that have tracks on, you only see them driving in snow, because that's the only place where tracks are honestly, useful. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. It probably was just done just to have the viewers go, oh, look, there's tracks. Oh, look, that's fun. Yeah.
Because I think the car itself, the Ford, was capable I know the clutch is went out, but I think the car would have been capable. And how much strain did them tracks put on that clutch?
Yeah.
Had proper, just kind of chunky rally tires on it. The clutch would have been okay, and maybe he would have made it.
Yeah. It also would have needed like a 5-inch lift kit though, because
apparently
the tracks are the only reason why I had 19 inches of clearance.
Yeah, and can I say, the headlight on that thing was deplorable. How could he see anything? I mean, everybody else had headlights and he didn't.
He had this like big winch like turbo thing on the front, completely blocking his headlights. Like, how do you see at night without crashing into 1 million people?
That's it.
There's no people around him.
Well, in that case, without crashing into a camera car, someone else from the film crew.
Right.
He's already done that one. He has already.
He's already got that bingo card. Doesn't need to get it again.
Yeah.
You really need like a massive spotlight on top of the car though, like they had on the trucks. I forgot to move the phone. Dang it!
You know what he should have done. In the I think it was season 22 of Top Gear, where Jeremy had he and James are going to try to save Hammond off of that mountain in Canada, and Jeremy had the Ford F-150. Yeah. And he had this huge light bar on top. There was like the collapsed sun.
Exactly.
Hammond should have put a collapsed sun on his Focus, and then that would have been actually useful instead of just having some blocked lights, Yeah.
I want to mention that Caterham again, because one thing I really didn't understand is how they were able to fit those massive tires, specifically on the back, on the same Caterham rims. On the same Caterham wheels. How did they do that? I thought they would have changed them.
I think the Caterham wheels are like 17s, 18s, something. They're not massive. They're not like 20s. So then you can put off-road tires, because off-road tires go on smaller wheels, don't they?
Yeah, but I mean like the width. Like I didn't understand how the tires weren't just wider than the actual wheels themselves. That's what I was
track car width tires.
True. Yeah, that was amazing seeing those little Caterham wheels with massive sidewalls in the back.
If you look at it from like a front view, like a diagonal front view, you see in the front you have these tiny little tires, and then in the back you have this like massive whopping thing.
Yeah, like tractor tires.
Huge sidewall and
Well, do you remember when they done the Grand Tour through Italy and Hammond took the Challenger?
Yeah.
Remember when he painted the mural for, culture? And it had the giant back wheels smoking with the tiny little front wheels, and it was this break. That's what the Caterham was that painting.
This huge, disproportionate thing. It was like big tractor wheels in the back, and in the front you have this.
All three of them were cartoon cars. They're all cartoon cars. You had the Caterham tractor. You had the MFB, which was basically like if you gave me a picture of a Bentley and said make this apocalypse ready when I was 9, and then you have the tracked Focus. They're just cartoon cars. That's what they were.
Yeah, but if I would have drew the Bentley under the same premise when I was a child, it would have had guns and rockets. And
I would have had 50 cals.
I would have went with laser beams.
Well, hey,
You know what I would have had? I would have been working in tandem with like a helicopter gunship type thing. Driving on the ground with my 50 cals, my like machine guns, spikes, everything, and then in the air I would have had this helicopter.
The exhaust pipe doubles as a cannon. The exhaust pipe just doubles as a cannon.
That's great.
There you go.
And you can have the helicopter that's following you take pictures of you from the air,
Next time we do drawing challenges, we should draw the apocalypse cars like this, cartoon cars and stuff.
We should. Speaking of drawing challenges, I think we should get on to that.
I just finished the Range Rover, so that was brilliantly timed. Shit, I told you what it was.
Oh crap!
I ain't got that bombshell.
We will start with the Range Rover then. I think that.
I think that's a good one to begin with because everyone already knows what it is.
Yes. See, I had to make it organic.
Yes, you have to have it in this like farmland setting. Yes.
Well, I've just had it. Well, if it focus, my camera's not very good at focus.
Wait.
All right.
Have it next to a tree. Very nice.
Yeah. No, it's not next to a tree. If it...
There we go. Confused Stig.
Confused.
Hold on. Maybe that worked. Hold on. All right.
It's actually crashed into a tree.
Yes. There we go.
I couldn't see that at first. I was looking at it from the opposite angle.
It has had a tree. It has had a Minecraft. There's no way to make it a Range Rover organic.
So, what was the tree the sinister part? Oh.
I feel like Hood crashing into the tree was the sinister bit. I think the fat bit was the big fat tires we have on it. Look at those tires. Those are massive wheels.
They're chunky.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see. I'm gonna have to take my helmet off for this. Ow. Okay.
Okay, so who would like to begin with the drawing challenge? So just to clarify for the viewers, this challenge is we've each drawn some drawings of different types of cars, and one of us is gonna show. We're all gonna take turns showing which cars we've drawn, and then the others have to guess what the vehicle is that's been drawn. So it's basically a drawing. Guess what car I've drawn type challenge.
And I have a bad focus camera, so actually, it focused on the drag. Let's see if I can get it to focus again.
It focused. We have the drag again though. That's very good.
Yeah. It had it for a second.
Okay,
good. Is it dirty? It might just be dirty.
As we just settle into this next challenge.
Right.
Why doesn't someone else start while I try and get this camera working?
Yes.
Alright, I'll go if you want.
Would you like to begin? Yeah.
I don't. Y'all might have to help me on the focus part of this because the part I'm looking at for me is like super tiny. So deal with it. I stuck to the 3-line method. Kinda. Go with that.
Oh.
Ooh, that looks.
Oh, that reminds me of some. Well, the front end reminds me of, I think it's a Ferrari from the 70s, a Le Mans racer.
I'd say almost like a Testarossa from the front, but like a McLaren from the back.
And then it's 911 in the middle.
Yeah,
I said vaguely familiar.
And then we have this L shape on the bottom.
Kind of Mustang-ish actually, with that character line in the middle.
I wonder if it's could it be a Ford GT40?
That's a good guess. Dalton 240Z.
No.
Okay. Where have I seen that?
This is quite good, actually. This is a good game. Is
it a Porsche 911 flat nose?
No.
Oh, that's a good guess.
I see that in the back.
That's what I thought of after I drew it. I thought, well, heck, that's not what I was looking for at all.
Could it be? Actually, I was gonna guess Countach, but it doesn't have the wing in the back, so no. I see some Countach, but not completely, so no.
Yeah, no. Alright, focus is just gonna be next challenge. It's not working.
Gosh, this is a good drawing, Doug. I can't crack this.
Actually, it's not, because if you see the car afterwards, you're gonna be like, how did he butcher it that bad?
Well, no one said that we were professional over here. No one said that we were professional, so.
Is it a SWMR2?
Nope.
That's a lot more square, if I remember.
Let's say AW11. That's the really square one.
That's the really square. Oh, yeah. The later one, the MRS. I think it is.
Yeah.
That might be it.
Be a McLaren 720.
McLaren F1?
Although now we can say that. Now we can say that.
You know, one thing I didn't think of when I came up with when I think Damon actually came up with this challenge, maybe it was Cody, is we should put up some kind of time limit so we don't spend 5 minutes trying to guess one card.
I'll give you a hint.
So let's say about 30 more seconds.
Is it front engine or mid engine?
One more line.
Huh?
Here's adding.
Cayman.
Is that a Cayman GT4?
Is it front engine or mid engine? Because I think that's quite a difficult
part. It'd be mid engine.
Alright.
Alpine Turbo?
Alpine?
What is it?
911 Turbo? No?
Alpine A110, the new one?
I like that.
Nah.
I think that's our time up, though.
Doesn't this have a wing in the back?
There's a little bit of a at the end. I wouldn't really call it a wing, but there is a little bit of a at the end. Yes.
Yeah. So what is it then, Doug?
Lamborghini Miura.
Oh!
So close.
I was dancing and I thought.
We had Testarossa, we had McLaren F1, we was right next to it.
Right up that alleyway. We were so close.
We were so close, and then we backed down and went to MR2s and A110s.
JDM type stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
I love the gamut because it went from Ford GT to like Mazda. I mean, it was...
Yeah.
How could you get more different? Yeah. Good drawings though, man. That was a good challenge.
Yeah.
I like it. That was kind of fun. Even though that's just my part.
All right. So who wants to go next?
Cody? I have one and it's crap. So here we go. Can you see that?
That looks like a
Is it
Jag?
Dodge Viper?
It's not a Viper.
XK120?
Close, I guess.
XK120 is it some kind of Jag?
It's actually not a D-type.
Is it an XKSS?
So, no, I just want to say, this was meant to be a 458. This was meant to be a 458 Italia, but I can't draw to save my life.
Huh.
With Doug's one, I can see the resemblance quite a bit. I can't see it with
I don't actually see the because that nose kind of slants up. I can't quite see the 458.
It looks like there should be an engine at the front instead of the rear.
That's why I changed my mind.
You know what it could have been? It could have been a Bugatti Type 57 Atlantic.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It could have been those. But
it could have been a coupe type Jag which has had a bit of a crash, like my Range Rover.
That's what it is. That's what I decided it is.
It was like a squashed Jaggy type, yeah.
Yeah.
Like an organic Range Rover. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, you got it, David.
The organic Range Rover had a little accident with the E-Type.
Yeah.
Made this.
There you go. A god-awful E-Type.
If someone could edit all of the pictures, the Range Rover, and then a chain of crashed cars, the crashed E-Type, and then right at the back, Doug's car.
That's fantastic.
Alright. Should I go next?
Yep.
Yeah. Because I'm
Okay.
still searching for something in my book.
Go. This is my drawing. Can you see that well enough?
Try tilting it downwards so it's not.
Tilting it up? Is that good?
A little bit down and then closer to the screen. There you okay. Ford Explorer.
No, not quite.
Layla's pictures stopped working on my phone, so I can't actually see what it is.
Guess a pickup truck. That's what I'm seeing. F-150.
Close, but no.
Dodge Rams, a Chevrolet
It
Silverado, Toyota Hilux.
I will say it is American. It is American, so that's a good beginning.
I can't see the picture. I'm just going off what Cody described it
He's
as.
just naming trucks now.
Yeah.
Ford Ranger.
International Harvester.
I said that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's
No, I said Ford
a bit more
Ranger.
modern than
Oh,
that.
okay.
Do what?
It's something a little bit more modern than an international.
Okay.
Hummer electric thing.
Nope.
Oh, that was
Still
a good
can't
guess.
see it.
There's actually a kind of possibly substantial hint somewhere on this side.
Will it mess up the recording if I leave the call and join back because I can't see the picture?
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
Alright.
Alright. Doug, Cody, any other guesses?
The problem I'm having at the moment is that the light is shining on the paper.
Yeah, it's very bright. It's just kind of hard to see. I can see some of your lines, and then some of your lines disappear depending on how you're holding it.
Is it a 2019 Ram 1500?
No, it's not any kind of Dodge.
Okay. GMC Sierra.
Yes!
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 Wow!
That was...
I actually had a pretty substantial hint. I don't know if you can see it. Over here it says AT4, which is the new off-road spec.
Oh.
So...
I just saw the little side door and I was
in case Damon didn't see, I have, yes, that's what it was.
I just finally seen it, yeah.
Yes.
Right, I guess I've got to find something in my book now.
While you do that, someone give me a word and I'll try not to butcher it this time.
Give you a word.
Yeah.
Like a description? Like a...
Or a few words and I'll make a car and we'll see what happens.
Oh, like... Alright.
Apocalypse ready.
What did you say, Doug?
That could be the Bentley, isn't it?
Apocalypse ready.
Okay.
Now, Layla, it's up to you.
I'll go ahead.
Lightweight. I'm going to say lightweight.
I'm gonna go ahead and say boxy.
A boxy, lightweight, apocalypse ready vehicle.
Yes.
Okay. Hold on.
That would be Jeff from Top Gear made it right?
Yeah, exactly.
If Jeff had some 50 cals on the front, and if he had some like big light bar on top, and he had some like off-road tires, yep, that'd be.
Yeah.
And as long as the zombies don't run, you're fine.
As long as the zombies don't go more than about 2 or 3 miles an hour.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. As long as the zombies don't move at all.
Yeah, that'd be the best way.
I think that might be alright for you guys to have a guess on. Sorry to camera.
Alright, Damon, go ahead. Let's see if we can guess this.
Oh, come on. Camera. Right, wait. There we go.
Okay. Well, I'm seeing this from like a side. I'm seeing this from a portrait angle.
Hold on.
Side angle. So yes, there we go. That looks like.
Is it a
Cosworth or something? What?
Is it a ton?
It's
is
like
it
an old S Cosworth, maybe.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
It's a hatchback.
That, or it could be a Peugeot 205 GTI.
Is it a Talbot Sunbeam?
I think Layla's got a link. It's quite a loose link, but she's got a link. Something to is rally car definitely. I'm gonna say
okay. Is it a Renault 5 Turbo?
No.
No.
A little bit later.
A little bit later. Okay. Lancia Delta Integrale.
Yes.
Nice.
Hey.
Nice.
That was fast.
Oh, finished.
Yeah.
I
See, I was in the middle of drawing and then I realised it looked like a cartoon car and then I gave up.
I see the front, I see the headlamps, and I see the kind of square...
Yeah, I did literally just draw them in with a circle just now because I thought it would have been possible otherwise. The squiggly lines.
Okay, this one's a concept, and it's also really bad.
That's the jet-powered dragster, isn't it?
No. Concept.
Oh, that's the Apocalypse car.
Yeah. Well, it's not...
It looks quite like the jet-powered dragster, though.
Yeah, it does.
Why is the a seemingly like fat oval-shaped pig with a unicorn horn and no legs on the back?
It's a cannon! Oh my god!
Why is it 500 feet long? Why is it 500 feet long?
Yes, that's the real question. Why is it so lengthy?
It's based off a semi.
It's a Caterham on a semi-truck space frame.
You're very close to Caterham, actually.
A 40-foot-long Caterham, that'd be great. Just
It's an air tug.
You know what that would be? It would be like if they took the Caterham from the Massive Hunt special, and if they made it into a limo like they did in season 9 of Top Gear.
Yeah. It's a Fiat Panda Caterham limo.
Yes.
Y'all are close with Caterham.
With cannons on the back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why does the back look like a bathtub?
The whole thing is like a bathtub. What are you saying?
I just looked at the back.
So y'all remember that Top Gear episode where they looked at that Caterham 7 concept where it was that modern Caterham 7, that green one with the yellow... Yeah, that's what this is meant to be.
Yes.
Oh.
It's absolutely not.
I mean, I see some of it because it is quite boxy.
I'll give you that. It looks a bit like the old one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You can go away, you disgrace. Okay. Better than me has to go next because I should be from this.
Yes. Well, I do have one more photo actually on my phone. If you guys want to take a guess about what this is.
Mm-hmm.
This could be quite obvious because it is quite a, pretty obvious drawing because I did it with my parents' friend who is a visual art teacher, so this could be quite obvious.
That's Porsche 911.
Looks like a 911. Proportions are a little odd. Is it a Ferrari 250 GTO?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. 250 GTO.
1 second, I saw the rear arch profile. I was about to say that. Cody beat me to
Yeah.
That little vent right behind the rear wheel.
Yeah, little vent.
That's the one.
That was a giveaway.
Yeah.
The number eluded me.
I think I have one.
Is it a Mercedes C63 Black Series?
How did you get that so quickly? Cody got it.
The yellow. That yellow is iconic.
Is it a C6 Corvette? That's what I was gonna guess, but.
Yeah, it was with that. Yeah. This one actually turned out all right, and then for some reason I gave up on it for no reason.
It looks great.
Yeah.
Hold on. Finder, come back.
We're gonna turn into an art show now.
Yes, we have a full art show special of the Idle Banter segment.
All right, before I flip through all my sketchbook, I think we should move on to the next segment.
Yes. Yeah. I think, because I do have quite a bit more songs that I could show you, but we'd be here for 5 hours if I did that, so...
We eventually, we will have an art special.
I think, yes, we should eventually have a fully dedicated art special of Idle Banter, but...
Maybe next episode we could have people send in their art.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That's a good... Yes. If you do drawings of cars and you'd like to have it featured on this podcast, then DM one of us, and we shall feature it in the next episode of Idle Banter. But for now, let's move on to the last segment of this Christmas special, which is vehicle stories. Like the worst vehicle story that has ever happened to you or someone you know in your life. So,
someone else want to take a stab at that?
I can go ahead and begin, just to get us started here. So my dad's mechanic for his E-Type, when he was quite a lot younger, I think he was in his 20s or 30s, he had the opportunity to buy a Jaguar XKSS, which at the time was about $5,000 US. And
I see where this is going.
He only had $3,000. He was about $2,000 short. So he didn't end up buying it, but he came this close to being able to buy a car which is now worth $10 or $20 million.
Ah! Oh!
Yes.
God, that hurts me from here.
The one that got away.
Yes, indeed.
No kidding.
He came this close to owning a car that Steve McQueen owned and drove.
Oh.
I feel sad.
Yeah.
I saw a DV7 on Auto Trade of $2,500 working.
Ooh.
Wow.
It was sold within the next day, the next morning. I checked.
I would hope so. I mean, that's a steal.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else have the worst automotive story?
I have one. It's not necessarily the worst. It's just very embarrassing.
Okay, go ahead.
I have one.
Okay, so to preface this, I'm gonna make an article about this eventually, but here's the story of how I nearly got my first kiss at a DMV.
Oh.
Right.
So, right on. Here we go.
Let's see. I was about 8 at the time, and basically, I'm just gonna give you the short story. Young baby was just crawling up my leg, lips just puckered, and that was kind of it. Until I guess the mother was like, nope. Like, nope, that's not happening.
No, I should hope not. I mean, I would hope to go first kiss would not be a small child.
Yeah.
You should hear some of the stories my non-car people friends talk
God.
about. I'm not going to share them because I don't think they want that on the internet, but... Yeah.
Probably not. But anyway, so you got a story you said?
Yeah. Go ahead,
Should I tell you how I crashed the Astra? Very minor damage.
Do.
I just bumped the bumper, and the bumper had a little ding in it, and it popped itself out but cracked it. Very light damage. However, basically, my dad took us to this driving park a few minutes away from us to pay 15 quid, and you can drive around with as long as you have a licensed driver with you. Mm-hmm. So, we pulled off in this park, in a little kind of reverse parking area, where you park, car park style thing.
Yeah.
We thought that was a safe place, so I got in. Didn't stall it. I managed to get the car started, get the car moving, but I was looking at the gauge cluster to make sure the roads didn't drop. And then I looked up, and there was I think it was a pole. So I slammed on the brake. Well, I slammed on a pedal. I can't remember which one, but obviously it didn't stop in time, and I bumped the pole at about 3 miles an hour. Minor damage to the bumper, but so I beaten Hammond's record by crashing within the first 20 seconds of sitting in the driver's seat.
That is hella unfortunate. That
has got to be the biggest bombshell of this whole episode.
Yeah. That reminds me of just Jeremy saying, people aren't going to be looking at the road due to the speed cameras in Britain. They're just going to be maniacally looking at the speedo, making sure they're not going 1 mile per hour over, and then bam, rear end someone.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually a death trap, but no one knows it.
Yeah. Not going fast is actually killing people, and on that bombshell.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Indeed.
That reminds me or I just remembered another story. I'm sorry. You want to go
All right, Cody, you go first.
Oh, okay. So my dad's he had a CRV, and it was in the shop, and so he got a Kia Soul as a rental. And so one day we were going out to the local racetrack, and where I live is on the eastern slope of Colorado, so it's just flat. Pretty much it's like Kansas. And so we're going along this flat highway at about 70 miles per hour, and the car is actually kind of shaking a little bit. The darn thing is not stable at 70 miles per hour. It's slightly light at the front end. This Kia Soul is getting lift at 70 miles per hour on a highway. It wasn't terrifying, but it was. How do you have lift at 70 miles per hour? We're not talking 150. None of that at highway speeds. And the thing was not completely stable on the highway.
Wasn't that like Clarkson's Citroen Tower Block?
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like that.
The front wheels weren't making contact.
Uh-huh.
He was like, ah! The whole way down to Cornwall, just screaming, ah!
I have a story with that, actually, because my dad's Exantia, it had the same hydropneumatic suspension, and it was, quote-unquote, self-leveling because it was hydropneumatic. My granddad thought that meant he could use it as a builder's truck, and we broke the suspensions.
Oh no!
I think this was before I was born. I was told about it, but yeah, that happened.
You love to see it.
Which yeah.
That's bad.
Oh my.
Doug hasn't had a chance to show any stories yet. So Doug, you have any funny little moments or embarrassing moments?
I have so many moments in cars and stories. I've been sitting here trying to go through the basket of them. I'll do two contrasting ones. One's pretty short. The other one might not be so much. 2 times I really thought I was going to die in a car. One, we were moving pretty quick. Neither was an actual accident. Let me clear that up. That's a whole nother story segment, is the accidents of it. Anyway,
Yes.
a friend of mine had just gotten a new Mustang GT. It probably would have been a late 80s, possibly. Yeah, probably late 80s.
Well, a Fox body one.
Yeah, I think it's just before they gave up the Fox bodies.
Okay.
Ooh, no, I take that back. It'd have been in early 90s.
What? 90s. So an SN95.
Some like New Age or whatever.
New Edge.
Yeah,
Okay,
something like
yeah.
yeah.
And he was wanting to take me to ride him. So we take off down this little 2-lane country road that had a good straight stretch in it. Well, he gets out and romps this thing. And 2-lane road, you got ditch on one side, farm field on the other. And felt pretty safe. We get up to about a $125 flying down this road. I'm passenger, you know what I'm saying. So anyway, when you're moving that fast, things happen quick. Well, at the time, it was maybe 400 yards, 300 yards in front of us. A late 70s, early 80s Chevette pulls right out in front of us. I mean, right out in front of us, doing a whole 15 mile an hour. My buddy locks up the Mustang, and we went around the car and swerved back in front of it with all 4 tires still locked up. So when you go down the road, you can see the black marks from the lane we were in going into the next lane, going and then pulling back into the lane we were in to get around that car. Terrifying. I thought we was going to die. That was it. It was like, yeah, I thought that was it. And
I could have seen that.
That taught me then how fast things happen. It was just immediate. You know, everything was clear. The next thing you know, there's a Chevette right there. And yeah, it was, I'm glad he had good reflexes. On the exact opposite end of the scale, me and my dad, he just bought at that time, it was a brand new 2010 Toyota Tacoma. And it was his first 4-wheel drive truck. It was the 5-speed, 4-cylinder, 4-wheel drive, the whole bit. And it was the first winter here with it. And it was bad that year. We had a lot of snow, a lot of ice. It was horrible. So what's the first thing we want to do? Go off-roading.
Absolutely.
As you do. As anyone would.
As you do.
So we take off up a logging road of a friend's property we have here. They have hundreds of acres. So we just go out there and cruise around. And it's everything from woods to farm fields to what do you want, you know. So we get top of the biggest hill on the property. The Toyota, that's why I love them. It just went right up the hill. It never, you know, we put it 4 low and it just kind of made it to the top of this big hill. We had to weave through trees and big rocks, do a little rock crawling to get up there, but we made it. And when you go up one side and then you can come down the other, but it's a lot steeper. Well, we thought, yeah, it'd be all right. The truck done really good getting up this side. We'll go down the other side. And when we got over to the other side, there's like this big roundish kind of knoll. And we parked there to see how bad it was down the road we was wanting to take. I say road, it's a big washout you drive down. It's not technically a road. But we was going to go down this wash, and it's steep, y'all. I mean, and then it's a curve too. Yeah, and it was nothing but ice and snow. I mean, it was just pure white. You could barely make out the ruts in the ground. You couldn't see the rocks. Nothing that, you know, was there. And at the bottom of the hill is a creek that is right, literally, if you miss the turn, you go off the ledge, down a small cliff, into a small body of water. And it's probably, well, no one's ever touched the bottom, so it's probably over 100 foot deep. I mean, it's deep. and it was covered in ice, so it had been freezing cold when we hit it. And we tried to turn around, but the truck kept wanting to it was starting to turn sideways on the hill and wanting to go down the hill sideways. Mm-hmm. So we decided the only thing we could do to save the situation was to just go down that way. And we didn't want to. We wanted to turn and go back. But being what it is, we hit 4 low and crawled down the hill. It took us, it seemed like years to get to the bottom of that hill. Maybe 20 minutes for something that could have been, I don't know. But we went maybe 3 mile an hour, 2 mile an hour the whole time. But when you're staring at a frozen body of water at the bottom, knowing that if this all goes wrong, that's where you're going to end up. We already had it figured out when we was going to jump out of the truck, because if it all went sideways, bail. And
he already was going sideways.
Yeah.
Intended.
That was probably the scariest thing at the slowest possible speed ever. It was like one little slip and the whole truck either could have just rolled down the hill, because if it went sideways and caught one of the big rocks, it could have just flipped it, and then we've just been barrel rolling down the hill. We was hoping we literally just didn't slide off and just it was, yeah.
The perceived
I'm just
inevitability
thinking
of
Death
pain.
Road from Top Gear.
Yeah.
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 Oh God, that just sounds like a slow hell.
It was. It was a nail biter all the way down.
I'm honestly getting chills just like listening to you talk about that. That sounds so unpleasant.
Well, if you think that one's good, the one where I literally thought I was going to die, and this actually involved a car wreck, so this was something that could have really been serious. I was coming back from college. I had found a girl who lived in the same town I did, and we was in Virginia, so I had to get back here to Ohio. Well, she lived in the same town. Hey, can I hitch a ride? I'll pay for gas, help out. She was cool with it. Well, we had made the trip a couple times. She was a pretty safe driver for the most part. Felt good, riding with her. So anyway, one of the other trips come back. This is the one time I did not call my parents. I did not tell anybody I was leaving college. I was wanting to surprise my parents to come home and just surprise them. So anyway, yeah, not always a good idea. On the way home in West Virginia, we're in a car wreck running about 65 mile an hour. A Firebird pulls out in front of us, probably 87-ish year, them late 70s Firebirds.
Night Rider, yeah.
And we were in a Pontiac Sunbird. Sunbird hits a Firebird.
That's a moment.
How a Firebird, the front end's pointy. Well, when we hit them, we hit that point, and they were pulling out in front of us, and we clipped them. Well, when we clipped them, it threw us across the other lane of traffic and off the road. Well, when we went off the road, we went into some soft ground and dirt. And then all of a sudden, I'll get to a better part of this here in a second. We come into some soft dirt, and all of a sudden I felt us come to a drop. I felt the car drop, and then it just come to an abrupt stop. And when I got out of the car, which is amazing I did, the front wheels had fallen off of a cliff. And it was probably, it was probably a 100-foot fall. We were looking across treetops. And the only thing that saved us is the frame rails of the car, and the oil pan dug into that dirt, and that's what stopped us. So, yeah. But when we hit the Firebird, what made it bad was, obviously I wear glasses. This is how dumb I was when I was young. I was looking out the window of the car to see if we was actually going to hit the Firebird. So what happened was, we hit the car, my head hit the A-pillar of the window, because my head was out the window. I hit it so hard that my glasses flew off, hit the windshield of the car, flew back, ricocheted off the back windshield of the car, flew up, hit the dash, and then finally landed in the back seat of the car again. Yeah.
Whoa!
My clock, man.
Holy crap! Your glasses
That's a
had the
lot
biggest
of
journey.
force.
Oh my god.
And then it gets better. After the wreck, I'll shortcut some stuff real quick. After the wreck, we get a tow truck to try to take us back to college, back to Virginia. We're in West Virginia.
Uh-huh.
So we're waiting, and we get into these little cabins, and we had to get down off the road to wait on the tow truck and everything to, get down to these little cabins. And there's this little old lady. She answers the door, and we just want to use the phone and all that. And she's like, "Oh yeah, okay, come on in." So we go in. We use the phone. Sweet little old lady, little dress, apron, white hair, and a little bun. I mean, perfect little grandma. And we go to leave, and she goes, "Oh no, you guys can't leave." "What do you mean we can't leave?" And she goes, "Oh no, I can't let you go." Thought, oh no, she's a serial killer. Leatherface is going to jump out the closet, and here we go. I started to freak out. And I'm like, oh, here, no. So anyway, she goes, "The bears are coming. Bears are coming." And I'm like, okay. She goes, "Yeah, you have to stay here till they leave." And I'm like, "Look, lady, I'm leaving. I'm going back to the car." I'm like, I ain't staying here. This is too weird for me, man. I got to go. And I think I'm 18 years old. So anyway, I'm like, I got this. Well, I start heading through her house, and she keeps telling me, "No, you can't go. They're violent. You can't go outside." I get outside, and there has to be, I can't count them all. There had to be 30, 40 of these big black bears literally walking around in her yard, and they was pawing and standing up at the front door looking in the windows of her house. And then they would go around pawing at the windows and digging around in her yard for stuff. This happened for probably 45 minutes, and then they literally all just disappeared. And she goes, "Okay, you can go now."
What a nightmare! What a nightmare! You and that girl were Hansel and Gretel. You were trapped in that gingerbread house. But the evil one. Yeah.
Should I have a go at this time outro?
Go ahead, Damon.
Yep.
Thank you guys for listening to Idle Banter. We will probably be back in a week with an After Hours, but probably be back sometime in January. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. And yeah, those are some of our car stories and drawings, which we're not good at.
And please do have a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and have a safe New Year, and we will see you in 2021.
Make sure to have a car-themed Christmas as well.
Yes, indeed.
I take all my red and green cars out. So.
Have a petrol-powered Christmas.
Yes. Don't do donuts in the snow,
Christmas,
dang it.
some could say.
Fuel-injected
Christmas.
Yes.
Yep. There we go.
Alright, see you guys in the New Year.
Yeah.